What's up? Welcome to the channel. Tonight I'm going to start taking apart my gaming setup. For the most part, this is going to be pretty simple. The desk is going to be swapping over to this side, and the Euro Lounger is going to be going over there, because this side is going to become my console gaming area. So first things first, got to take apart the old setup because I'm going to be painting these two accent walls, kind of like a dark green color. So demolition, then painting. So as you can see, the desk is now apart and out of here. Next, I'm going to be taking off the 3D wall panels, the LifeX beam, the wall shelves, and also the hexagon. So if you're using the 3D wall panels, this is why you use double-sided tape instead of glue like it always recommends on like the Amazon listing for it. It's so much easier to pull these off. As you can see, I do have like some tape on here, but to pull off residue, it's so easy. Seriously, just roll it off the wall and it didn't do any damage like anywhere. It's much better than on my other wall where I actually did use glue on one of the squares before I just gave up and said, nope, screw this is gonna be a mess. I actually had to sand that glue off the wall before I could paint and repair that wall. So go with the 3M double-sided tape. This is what I use. I just cut these into about thirds and put one in each corner of the panels and just stick them up. And so far, I've barely had any of them fall down. And if they do, you can just put them right back up. All right, it's 3:15. I think I'm gonna call it for the night since I still have to wait for the paint to dry. It's still pretty wet. I put on a pretty heavy second coat. So I just don't want to mess anything up. I feel like I can't really get anything super close to the wall. And I also have to put on all of the wall plates for the switches, outlets, and one of the air exchange vents. So I'm just gonna call it for the night and I'm gonna pick up again tomorrow. Right, so it is the next day. I just got back from work and I'm resuming on my setup. I got my Euro Lounger where I want it and my TV stand where I want it. As you can see, there's not a lot of space, but that's what I'm working with. And I think it's gonna be still gonna be nice and cozy, and I'm gonna be nice and close to that 55-inch 4K TV, which will be pretty nice actually for me, because I don't like gaming far away. On to the next order of business is setting up my desk. All right, the tabletops are secure to the Alex drawers. Now I just have to connect the two tabletops for my L. And I don't know how other people do it. Quite honestly, I have no idea how other people do it. Well, how I do it is possibly janky, but it's worked. And I have a giant ass PC. It has not fallen through my desk yet. So this is what I do. And no, I don't recommend this because I don't want someone coming back at me being like, yo, I did what you did and my desk fell apart like it worked for me. So that's it. So legal disclaimer, this is what I do, but I'm not telling you to do it. So anyway, so with my L shape, I use two legs. I do one in the corner. Why am I doing it like this? So I use two legs. I use one in the corner that uses the existing 5 screw holes on the IKEA tabletop. Because the IKEA tabletop, at least that I get, the light captain comes with pre-drilled holes, and that is what I'm using. As you can see, so that's bolted there. And then I use a second leg and I actually put it in between the two where they intersect here. All right, now that that's finally done, it's time for more shoddy jankiness. So to support this, I use one of these. I found it in my house. Maybe the previous owner left it. Maybe it was from something else that I bought, some kind of bracket thing. But this is some heavy duty metal. So I use that. I'm gonna drill some holes. Some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes along here, and I'm gonna use this to support it. And it's flat, so it's super low profile. But that's what I'm gonna use, and because that's what I used last time. Can't remember what I used in the past. I honestly can't remember what I've used in the past, but the last time that I built my desk, I used this, and this thing held up. So I'm gonna do that. Again, this is what I do. I don't recommend you do it because I don't want to get in trouble. So, yeah. All right, I changed my mind on where I'm placing the leg. So before I had one of the legs, this leg, right back here, and I moved it up more towards the middle. That way, this is still gonna act as a support, but this is a bit more centralized, and it's still nice and secure in the back, and it just kind of makes it a bit more balanced. So I'm gonna do that now. So it might be janky, but does it work? Oh yeah, nice and sturdy. What's up everyone? Welcome to part 2 of my new ultimate setup build. I'm hoping to get the rest of the desk set up and also get some other things organized, maybe even start hanging up some RGB. That would be the ideal goal, but we'll see how far we get. I am getting my new peel and stick wallpaper that I'm gonna be putting on top of the wall ledge here, going all the way around to kind of break up the green from the light gray color. And once that goes on, I'll be able to put my desk back together. But until that gets here, I do have something else I can do. I realized turning on the TV the other night and actually sitting down in my Euro lounger that this is kind of a bit high. I forgot kind of how high it could still be. So the idea I came up with is switch out the organizer for my TV stand that's out in the living room, which my wife just has never really been too big of a fan of anyway. So I'm gonna be swapping that out and just see how it looks. All right, it's in, and I actually like it so much more than I actually even thought it would. Now I will be covering this with some of that peel and stick wallpaper. I should have enough left because I ended up buying 2 of them. I bought one about a day after the other, but both are still arriving today, supposedly. One should be here very soon, the other one hopefully by tonight. Just got my notification that my wallpaper got here. Oh my God, the van is still here. Okay, drive off. I don't want to open the door. I don't want desperate. Also, I mean, what am I supposed to do if I open the door and he's still there? Okay, he left. What am I supposed to do when like he's still there? Am I supposed to like wave? Like I don't understand the social requirements of that. Here we go. All right, wallpaper is here, and this is what I got. If it focused, yeah. It's described as silk. I'm not seeing that, but I think it looks pretty cool. Hi, yeah, this is low. So what I'm doing here, I'm gonna be cutting this in half since the top of the ledges are only about 5 to 6 inches. I can't remember. I measured, but I can't remember. They're about 5 to 6 inches, and this whole thing is about 15 and a half. So I'm just cutting it in half. Unfortunately, I can't get like 3 rows out of it, only 2. So the extra is just kind of gonna be slack that I'm just gonna be cutting off, just make sure that I have enough to trim off and to work with. So yeah, I'm just kind of measuring that through, cutting down the middle, and then I'm gonna be setting these on. All right, they're on, so time to trim. All right, so I already kind of learned my lesson. As you can see, there's a bit of overhang because I cut it from the top. I'm gonna actually go through and try and touch it up later, but for the rest of it, I'm gonna try and cut from the bottom because then I think I can get a bit more of an angled cut. As you can see, more going like this compared to dropping down maybe like that. That's gonna leave a bit more slack, which you know, no one wants. I don't want no one wants on theirs. So yeah, maybe try going with it up like this. To get more of that angle, it's gonna be much closer to that edge for a nice clean cut. All right, second wallpaper arrived. Yay! Also, I need some cheese. Finally got it, like right after I turned the camera off. But yeah, that looks much better. I like it. And should be a bit better support and easier to clean. It's just kind of in the back here where there's just a bit of, you know, original showing, but whatever, like I said, gonna be covered by TV or plants or something else, so whatever. Right, now what I'm doing now, just before putting everything on the desk finally, is I'm just doing some touch-ups because when I was going by with the blade, I did nick the paint a bit, so I'm just kind of touching it up lightly before and making it look flawless. All right, now that this is done, I'm gonna be mounting my Govee rope and 3D wall panels. Thinking I'm gonna run the Govee rope from here, kind of facing out, and just kind of run it along. That way I have like a continuous like beam going across the desk area here, and then I'm just gonna stack these right on top of it. Next, I'm going to be prepping the 3D wall panels to go back up on the wall. And to mount those, I'm using these Scotch indoor tape squares. I cut them, I can't remember, I think I cut them into thirds, and then I just stick, I think I do, I can't remember if I do 4, 1 each corner, or if I do 3 on each side. As you can see behind me, I took down the 3 panels I had. It was looking way too daunting, like just because it's already up here on top of the lead, just having them all the way up there, holy crap, I don't know, it made me feel shorter than I already am. So I decided to take them down. Also saves me from having to cut one, go in there, so what I did instead, as you can see, I have a wall bracket, and that's actually for one of my old floating shelves, which I had in my old setup, which wasn't featured on this channel. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it. Anyway, so I have a floating shelf, and I'm gonna be putting that right here. Hopefully, hope to God I measured it right. I think I did, but you know, in these types of things, something always goes to. So anyway, I think I measured it correctly. It should go right here, pretty much in the center. I think it might be out by like 1 inch, but I can always move these. So we're gonna see if this though works. And if it does, then I'm gonna be putting just 2 more up top here to cover this crap. Please work. Yeah, get in the hole, that's what she said. Bangarang. There we go. Out of sight, out of mind. Until the next time, those either fall off or I take them off, and then I'm reminded that I was lazy. Alright, sorry guys, so I did just finish hanging up my Govee glide. I didn't record it because I thought it was just going to be as easy as just sticking it back up there. You know, I was able to reuse most of the adhesive strips. I only had to replace a couple, which I just replaced with these 3M command hangers. The only thing that I guess I could have recorded was this. So as you can see on this side, it stops down here, and that's because the Govee glide has this, whereas the Lifex beam just has like a small little clip. This has this whole piece, so unfortunately I wasn't able to have that go all the way down here like I wanted. However, the one thing I could have showed, I guess, was I just took a Dremel tool with like the really thin disc blade, and I just took a little notch out of here because originally I tried using these just to take a tiny snip out of it, and I cracked it. Thankfully you can't really see it, but yeah, do not use one of these. I should have known better. So I used a Dremel tool there so that runs down so that the cord is hidden, and then I also did another notch down there, if camera focus, another notch down there where it comes out, and I think it looks pretty freaking cool. I know I was saying like having 2 rows of these is daunting, but I feel like at least having them split up and then also just not 4 across, I think that does look, focus. I think that does look a lot better. Like I really like it. So it's now another day. Last night I just pretty much spent 4 hours doing cable management. So all of that is nice and done. It's all nicely tucked. I mean, okay, there we go. It's all like nicely tucked for the most part, nicely tucked. It's its own type. It's organized chaos is what it is. And I didn't film any of that just because, like I said, it took 4 hours, and cable management for me is always like, it never goes the same way twice. So I figured, what's the point? That would literally have to be its own video. But what I will show you is this. In case you are curious, I do use a combination, or at least this time I'm using a combination of these plastic cable raceways on that end and over on this end. That way I can just tuck all those cables up, and they're only held together. Like, these are repurposed. I have had them on and off the bottom of my setup so many times. So to get them to stick, again, I just use more of these squares. I just use more of these double-sided Scotch tape squares. For the small one, I used 2. And I believe on this one, I used 3. And then this is from IKEA. I used to have it on my setup a while ago, but I kind of got sick of it. But now that I'm kind of using them, I mean, that was, at that time I was only using it by itself, so it's just a lot of cables in there. And now that I'm using them in tandem, it does kind of take a lot of the load off it, or not so much the load, because I can handle it. It's more so it just takes a lot of the clutter off it. And then I have 2 surge protectors. This one is held on by screws, and this one's held on by a bunch of different squares. So yeah, that's pretty much how I cable manage that shit show. Well, I think that's gonna be the end of how I built my gaming setup. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to see the big reveal video of all the RGB and just kind of the whole finished product I'm falling over. Also, give the video a like if you found anything helpful, and leave some comments. Until next time, thank you for watching. Later.